Hello students, this is Abhishek Singh and we are doing revision summary of electromagnetic field theory, and this is the part 9 of our revision summary series. And in this video we are going to cover an important topic of electric dipole moment. So without wasting much time, let's get started. Okay, so I have drawn a coordinate system in front of you guys, and let me name this is x-axis, this is y-axis, and the third one is obviously the z-axis. Okay, so and that vector at the origin is nothing but a dipole p vector. Okay, this is a p vector, and let's say we have a point p. This is just a point. Okay, let's say it is not p, but it is some point a. At this point A, which is at a separation r from origin, and the angular distance is theta from the z-axis. Okay, this is r and this small vector is r cap. This vector is nothing but theta cap. Okay, so it is the complete diagram. And now, what is the potential due to this dipole at point A? Is my question to you guys, and I will tell you what is the potential, and I'm not going to derive this as this is the revision summary. I will directly write the potential. Okay, so the potential V would be a function of r and theta, and this is given by an expression 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught times p cos theta divided by r squared. Here P is the magnitude of dipole moment which is situated at the origin. Okay, so this formula can also be written as 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught P vector dot r cap divided by r squared. You can see P is in z direction in this diagram, and r cap, when you take the dot product of P with r cap, you will get P cos theta. So this formula is equivalent, but we can write this formula as the more general formula. Okay, you have to remember both the formulas of potential. And now, what is the electric field due to this dipole moment at point A is the second question. Now, after having solved or after having known about the potential, you can easily derive the value or the expression of electric field. How you can derive? You can derive by using the relation E is equal to negative gradient of V. You have V in front of you. You have V in front of you, and now you can take the negative gradient of this, and you will get the electric field. So I am going to solve this in the next page, and you can see the electric field is equal to negative gradient of, and the gradient in spherical system is del over del r of V r cap plus 1 over r del over del theta of V theta cap, and the third term is 1 over r sin theta del over del phi of V phi cap. But you can see from the previous slide that V is a function of r and theta only. V is not a function of phi. So the third term here will go to 0 after differentiation. This is 0. Okay, so we will be having only two terms in the expression of electric field, one along the r cap and the other along the theta cap. In this diagram you can see one electric field component would be in r cap, that is ER, and one electric field component would be in theta cap, that is E theta. and the net electric field would be somewhat in between these two components. This is the net electric field E. Okay, so now you have V in this slide. You can see the V here. You can now differentiate this V with respect to R for this first part, and now you can differentiate this V with respect to theta for the second part. And this is very easy differentiation, and you will easily get the expression something like this. Electric field will become equal to 2p cos theta divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube r cap. This is ER. This is ER plus the next term would be p sin theta divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r cube theta cap. This is E theta. Okay, this term is E theta and this term is ER. Component of electric field in R cap and component of electric field in theta cap are ER and E theta respectively. Now you can take something common and you can easily write this quantity as P over 4 pi epsilon naught r cube, and you will be left with 2p cos theta r cap plus p sin theta cap. So this is the electric field in spherical polar coordinate system, and this can be equivalently written as ER r cap plus E theta cap, where I have already defined what is ER and E theta in the above expression. Okay, so now what is the magnitude of electric field? Magnitude of electric field can be given by under the root ER square plus E theta square. Okay, so you can easily calculate magnitude of E from this. Here you have ER and E theta, and now you can square both the terms, add them and take an under root, and you will get magnitude of electric field. What is the angle? So the angle what the resultant will make with the R cap, resultant electric field will make with the R cap. I can show this in this diagram. I am talking about this alpha. Alpha will become equal to, I am writing this here, alpha would become equal to, actually what you have to do is you have to divide E theta by ER. You will get something like this, tan alpha. Tan alpha is E theta divided by ER, and you will get this equal to half of tan of theta. So alpha is tan inverse of half of tan theta. You can calculate the angle alpha which the resultant will be making with the R cap direction. Okay, so in the third slide now I am going to write the electric field in coordinate free notation. So in coordinate free notation you can write the electric field as 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught r cube, 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught r cube, and in bracket you can write 3 times p dot r cap, component of p along r cap, times r cap minus again p vector itself. So this is the value of electric field vector or the expression of electric field vector in the coordinate free notation. This is very important. You can use this formula in any coordinate system. Just you have to know the vector value of dipole moment p vector and the position vector unit cap or position unit vector r cap for solving for the values of electric field due to any electric dipole moment. Okay, now moving forward, and we have uh, two cases. We can put the dipole in external electric field. That electric field could be uniform and non-uniform. Depending on that, we have two cases. One is dipole in an external uniform electric field, which is the first case. So I can show the uniform electric field as something like this. These are equally distance. This equal distance. Let me redraw this. Okay, so this is electric field line. This is another electric field line. This is another electric field line. Okay, this is the direction of electric field. You have put a dipole something like this. This is a dipole, and you have two charges, one minus q and one plus q. Okay, so this plus q will experience a force in the direction of electric field F plus, and this minus q will experience a force in the direction opposite to electric field, and that force would be F minus. Okay, and what is the direction of dipole moment? Dipole moment's direction is given by, do mind it, dipole moment's direction is given by from minus q to plus q. Okay, you have to remember this. Direction of dipole moment is from minus q to plus q by convention. Okay, so this is the complete diagrammatic presentation of dipole in an uniform electric field. Now, what is the net force on the dipole? Net force is nothing but zero, because you have equal and opposite forces on plus q and minus q, as you can see from the diagram itself. Now, what is the total torque on the system of dipole, that is the dipole itself? This is given by P cross E. E is the dipole moment cross product with E. This is a vector cross product. If you know the dipole moment P and the electric field vector E vector, then you have to just take the cross product between P and E, and you will get the torque on the dipole in presence of uniform electric field. Okay, so now let us solve the case of the field is non-uniform. That is, the dipole is placed in a field which is not non-uniform. So I am not going to draw non-uniform field. I am just going to write the net force formula. So the F net, in this case, net force is not equal to 0 because the field is not uniform, and the net force is given by P dot del times E. P dot del times E. So it should be a force, which is the case here, and you can write this as Px del over del x plus Py del over del y plus Pz del over del z times electric field vector. Okay, so you will get three components of force: Fx, Fy, and Fz, depending on the component of electric field. Okay, and that force in general is not zero. In a particular case, this force could be zero, but in general, this force on a dipole in a non-uniform field is not zero. One more thing, there is also a net torque in this case of electric field, and that net torque can also again be given by uh, R cross F. You know the F, and now you just have to calculate R cross F. Okay, so moving forward, now we are dealing with the potential energy of the dipole. what is the potential energy of a dipole. I have drawn the dipole here at the origin, and you have two axes, x and y axis, and electric field is shown along the y axis. Okay, now let's say if your dipole was initially in the direction making an angle theta with the y axis, and you rotated this dipole to completely form or to completely put the dipole in the x direction. So the work done is given by integration from theta equal to pi by 2 to theta tau d theta. Work done in rotating this dipole is given by integral pi by 2 to theta tau d theta. Putting the value of tau, which is nothing but integral pi by 2 to theta p cross e. P cross e is e sin theta. I am taking the magnitude only, times d theta. After integrating this, you will get minus p e cos theta. This is the work done in rotating the dipole, and this work done is defined as or is stored in the form of potential energy of the dipole. So the potential energy of dipole is minus p dot e, which is minus pe cos theta. The amount of work stored in rotating the dipole is stored in the form of potential energy of the dipole. Okay, so this is how you can calculate the potential energy of the dipole. Now the interaction energy of two dipoles. Okay, so if you have two dipoles, let's say P1, we will call this P1 dipole, and the another dipole is P2 dipole, and they are separated by a distance of r. So the interaction energy U is given by minus of P1 dot E2, or you can write minus of P2 dot E1. Dipole of one and the electric field of another. Okay, you have to take the dot product of both the quantities with a negative sign, and this is P2 dot E1. P2 dot E1. Okay, so now putting the value of E1 or E2 in this expression, you can easily get the interaction energy U as 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught r cube, 4 pi epsilon naught r cube, and in bracket you will have P1 dot P2, P1 dot P2 minus 3 times P1 dot R, P1 dot R cap, P2 dot R cap. Bracket close. So this is the expression of interaction energy of two dipoles in coordinate free notation. Okay, so let us solve a previous year question. This question was asked in JAM 2017. Yes, JAM 2017. Okay, so it is very important question because we are going to use all our formulas in this question. And the question says, for a point dipole moment P is equal to Pz cap. So I have drawn the axes here, x, y, and z, and the dipole is has been put in the direction z cap. This is P vector, which is Pz cap. Which of the following are correct? This is the question. Let us check the option 1. Option 1 is saying the electric field at 0 B0. X and Z components are 0 and Y component is B. Let's say we are talking about some point at this. Okay. Sorry. At this. Okay. Now the general expression for electric field is given by, you can look at the slide where we have derived the general expression for electric field, which is 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught r. This should be r cube. Please correct this. I have made a mistake here. This is r cube. Okay, please correct this. This is r cube. Okay, we will use this formula in this question. And first of all, I will write the electric field E as 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, 4 pi epsilon naught r cube, and in bracket 3 times P dot r cap times r cap minus P vector is there. Okay, so this is the electric field in general notation. Now in the question part A, if your position is 0 b 0, I have shown this in this graph. So your r cap would be in y cap. Your r cap would be in y cap. You can see this term would become equal to 0 because P is in z cap. In this question, P is in z cap and r cap is y cap for option A. This term would become 0 and you will only left with this term. So electric field at 0 b 0 is nothing but minus P, which is Pz cap, divided by 4 pi epsilon naught B cube, which is not equal to 0. So option A is wrong. Now let us check option B. The work done in moving a charge Q from 0b0 to 00b is this much. Okay. So let us calculate the potential at these 2 points, 0b0 and 00b. So for 0b0 is again this point, and r cap is y cap, and potential in general notation is given as P Vr comma theta is nothing but P dot r cap divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r squared. You can see for the first part V at 0b0 will become equal to 0 because P is in z direction and r cap for this point 0 comma b comma 0 is y. So z dot y is 0, and the second point V at 0 comma 0 comma b is for 0 comma 0 comma b is the point somewhat here. Okay, and here r cap is equal to z cap. So z dot z is 1 and you will get the potential as P divided by 4 pi epsilon naught b squared. And what is the amount of work done? Work done is nothing but charge into potential difference. So potential difference is this much quantity minus 0 times charge. When you multiply this potential by charge, you will get the same energy as mentioned in option B, Q times P over 4 pi epsilon naught B square. So option B is correct. Now moving to option C, the electrostatic potential at B comma 0 comma 0 is 0, which is indeed true because for B comma 0 comma 0, that is some point on x-axis, your r cap would become equal to x cap. And again in the formula of potential, you can see P is along z direction z cap and r is along x cap. So z cap dot x cap is 0. So option B is again correct. Option C is again correct. Now option D, if a charge Q is kept 0 comma 0 comma b, it will exert a force of magnitude this much quantity. So let's say the charge is kept at 0 comma 0 comma b at this point. Okay, so your r cap is z cap. At this point the electric field is let me write the electric field on the next page. The electric field is E Here our charge is at this point. Here r cap is nothing but z cap, and electric field is 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught, 4 pi epsilon naught r cube 3 times p dot r cap times r cap minus p vector itself. Okay, so you will get 1 over 4 pi epsilon naught r cube is b cube, because this distance is b, and 3 times p dot r, p is in z direction, r cap is also in z direction, so it will become equal to nothing but p naught, and r cap again is equal to z minus p. So this is nothing but 3p, this quantity is p vector, p minus p. You will get 2p vector divided by 4 pi epsilon naught b cube. This is the electric field at this point, which is 0 comma 0 comma b. So what would be the force on a charge positioned at this point 0 comma 0 comma b? So the force would be given by 2p cube divided by 4 pi epsilon naught b cube. So what would be the force on the dipole due to charge? Now using the Newton's third law, the force F dash would be minus 2p cube divided by 4 pi epsilon naught b cube. But you can see the option is saying qp divided by 4 pi epsilon naught b cube. But we are getting 2p cube, and this is not equal, so option D is wrong. So you can write option B and C are correct, and option A and D are not correct. Okay, this was a question asked in JAM 2017. Okay, so let us solve one more question, and this is a general question. In this question, a small spherical ball of charge q and mass m is given. It is tied to a thin massless non-conducting string, sorry, of length L. The end of the string is fixed to the infinite extended sheet. Infinite, okay, do mind it. Non-conducting sheet with uniform surface charge density. Under equilibrium has been given. Okay, the string makes an angle 45 degree with the sheet as shown in the figure. This angle is 45. Then sigma is given. We are asked to calculate the sigma. Let me draw the free body diagram of that mass. This is the mass, and it will experience a weight in downward direction, and it will experience an electric field in this direction, which is equal to q times E. Okay, charge is q and electric field would be away from the infinite sheet, so it will experience a electrostatic force and electrostatic force in the direction away from sheet, and there would be some tension along this thread or string, and this angle is nothing but 45 degree. Let us say this is theta as of now, and we know theta is 45 degree. So you can take component of t as t cos theta and t sin theta, and in the question it is given that the mass m remains stationary as it is in equilibrium. You can equate the forces in x and y direction, and for x direction you will get t cos theta must be equal to qe. You can write t cos theta must be equal to qe. Let's say this is equation 1, and for the y direction you can write t sin theta must be equal to mg. You can write t sin theta must be equal to mg. This is equation 2. Now you can divide equation 2 and 1. You will get tan theta is equal to mg divided by qe. But tan theta is nothing but tan 45, as in question it is given that the thread is inclined at 45 degree, which is nothing but 1. You can write mg divided by qe must be equal to 1, which implies QE is equal to mg. Electric field due to infinite sheet of wire is given by Q times Q is this Q. The electric field is given by sigma divided by 2 epsilon naught, which is equal to mg. You can write sigma is equal to 2 epsilon naught mg divided by Q. Sigma is 2 epsilon naught mg divided by Q. So this is the sigma, and this was a question asked in JAM 2019. This was a question of JAM 2019. 2019. So you can solve any question which is something like this or related to this. Whenever equilibrium is given, you have to just equate the forces in x and y direction, taking component of all the forces, and just solve the simple mathematics behind that, and you will easily get the solutions. So dear students, if you are new to Eduncle, you can subscribe Eduncle for IIT JAM, CSIR NET and UGC NET's exams study material, which is prepared by India's top experienced faculties. You can also download Eduncle's mobile application, where more than 250 tutors will be answering your doubts. Thank you.